Howdy! Welcome to Aspire Mountain Academy. I'm Professor Curtis, your instructor for this course in Introductory Statistics. In less than 10 minutes, this video explores the basics of histograms. Let's get started. If you've seen the previous mini lectures, then you've already seen a histogram. Histograms are nothing more nor less than the graphical representation of a frequency distribution. And as we've already seen, one of the main reasons why we produce these graphs is so we can more easily see the shape of the underlying distribution. Here we see the shape of this distribution. Keep in mind that just as there are relative frequency distributions, there are also relative frequency histograms. Now, please note, there is no difference here with the shape of the underlying distribution. So whether you have a histogram based on counts or percentages, it doesn't matter. Your histogram will have the same shape. So how do we make a histogram in StatCrunch? Well, to explore that, let's consider a sample of straws cut to different lengths. We've seen before in previous mini lectures that how you get your data matters. So from where exactly do these data come? Well, first we're going to take 12 standard length straws and we're going to put them in 3 groups of 4 straws each. Then one of the groups will cut in half, one group will cut into thirds, and one group will cut into quarters. So this makes a total of 36 straw pieces. Next, samples of different sizes will be randomly selected from the population of 36 straws. Now each straw drawn from the bag will be measured with calipers and then left outside the bag so that it cannot be drawn again for the same sample. When the sample size is obtained, then we just take the measurements we have and we can average them together. And finally, the measurements for the entire population are taken so we can compare how well each of the previous samples represent the whole population. Okay, to make our histogram, we're first going to get the straw lengths file in our StatCrunch group. And then we're going to go to Graph, Histogram. In the option windows that appears, we're going to select the column with the data for the sample we want, and then check the box next to the value above bar, so we get those counts added to our graph. Then we press Compute, and there's our histogram. Of course, if you prefer to see how to do this in StatCrunch via video, here you go. And here, I also show you a little trick for making multiple graphs without going through all the menu options for each graph. So, here we go. Okay, here we are in StatCrunch. I've opened the straw lengths file in our class group inside StatCrunch. And we're going to make a histogram for the entire population of the straws. So that's going to be this column here with the 36 straws measurements in it. To make the histogram, we just come up to Graph and select Histogram. Then here in the options window, we're going to select the column where our data is located. And we want a frequency count, so that's going to be, we're just going to leave that alone. That's the default option. And then click this value above bar. I find that to be very useful, so we don't have to. It makes it easier to count how much is it in each category. Then I just come down here and compute, and lo and behold, here's my histogram for the entire population of straw lengths. Now, supposing that you wanted to get more than one graph made, well, I could go back up here to Graph and Histogram and just keep doing those menu options for as many graphs as I wanted, or I could just go back into the options window for this one I've already created, and I'm going to create multiple ones. So let's say I want to graph all of the sample sets here as well as the population. So let's say I want to graph the population first, and then I'm going to graph each one of these samples in turn. Notice here in the window, the order in which you selected the columns is the order in which they'll appear in your results window. So you can always check that out before you actually hit Compute. When you're done, just hit Compute. And now notice up here it says 1 of 5. So we've actually created 5 different graphs. So here on page 1 of 5, we have the first graph, which is for the population of 36 straws. And then using the arrow buttons down here, I can actually go through and notice it's got the other histograms are made, they're here, and they're in the order that I specified them to be. So, if you need to make multiple graphs, that's the quickest way to do it, also the most convenient. So I hope that helps you. Okay, I do hope that helps you. Making histograms is really easy when you have software like StatCrunch to help you. Of course, it's one thing to make the histogram. Okay, any monkey can be trained to do that. And another thing to interpret the histogram. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next mini lecture. So that brings us to the end of this mini lecture. I hope you found it helpful. You can find more mini lectures for this and other courses at AspireMountainAcademy.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.